Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to take a look at a very unique vintage Gibson guitar, and this one's got a lot of interesting features that we will talk about today, and of course all the vintage mojo that you could want. But I believe this to be around a 1972 Gibson SG Special, and the late 60s into the 70s, very transitional time. A lot of changes going on. I think most would say not for the better, but this guitar specifically has a Gibson labeled Bigsby on it and a 70s style intonated bridge, which not my favorite style, but it's a little bit wider, so it is more functional. Now, what's really cool about this guitar is that it has a set of patent sticker mini humbuckers, which these are the same pickups you would find in 60s Epiphones, late 60s into early 70s Les Pauls. And I actually put one of these pickups in my 64 Firebird because I think they are great sounding pickups for the money and definitely desirable. These read around 7K ohms on the meter, so they're a little bit hotter than some others I've seen, and they definitely sound like it to me. What's interesting about these though is that they have black pickup covers on them, and I've not seen Gibson do that before. I don't know if it's specific to this guitar, but just another interesting detail. And then to match, it has double ply binding on the neck, white and black on the outside. Moving on to the headstock here, you'll see the Gibson logo inlaid there at the top. A lot of checking on the face of the headstock. And on the back, this one, like many vintage Gibsons, has been shallored, and something that you often see on these guitars. It's got a pressed-in serial number at the top with the Made in USA stamp, which typically designates a 70s guitar. It's also got the large volute on the back, which apparently did not matter because this one still cracked right through it. And that's not all, actually. It even cracked at the heel as well. You can see the cracks going along the side of the neck here. So this guitar has had a rough life and seen some repairs, but I think it's still a really cool playing and sounding guitar. And it's got that 70s walnut vibe going on, but I wasn't a big fan of that color really until seeing it in person. And it's covered in checking and play wear, so it looks really cool in person. No doubt. So when I got this guitar, it was in need of repair, that's for sure. It didn't play very well, and it had been lathered in glue, so much so that the neck pickup was glued in place and not adjustable. So I had to pull all that out and clean it up, and did the best I could to make it look presentable. I also leveled the frets from the 12th fret and up, because there were a couple high frets here that were causing fret out, and certainly could be due to this guitar taking a fall. Also, just sprayed the pots, made sure the electronics were working, and they all work surprisingly well. This guitar does have 1970 pots in it, which is pretty early, being that I think it's a 72, but not completely uncommon. It does mean that this guitar has a pretty valuable set of pickups and pots in it for being what I would call kind of an entry-level player grade vintage guitar. And if you're wondering what it's worth, they are on Reverb for anywhere between 15 to 18, 2,000, depending on condition and what features it might have. There's a couple variants of this SG Special for the time period. I think this guitar, because of the issues, would certainly be at the lower end of the spectrum there. But, for the price of a reissue, you could get something that's the real deal. So I think it's definitely a cool guitar for the money. So I'm going to go ahead and play this thing for you guys. Aside from the repairs to the guitar, the Bigsby arm is a replacement, and frankly, it just doesn't work very well. It's hard to stay in tune and get through a video, so I'm just not going to use the Bigsby. It does have the 1 9/16 inch nut, which is the slimmer size, and I'm not a huge fan of it, honestly. If you have smaller hands, it's probably fine. This would be a cool guitar to, raise the action up and just use it as a slide guitar, maybe if I could play slide. But, I'm going to do my best here, and we'll take a listen, see how she sounds. right, guys. Well, I want to say thank you very much for watching today and being part of the channel here. I'd love to hear from you guys on your opinion, what you think of this guitar and the sound. I think it sounds like exactly what it is, a 70s Gibson guitar. And if you're going for, you know, that kind of rock sound, this guitar gets you there at a much, much lower price point. And, you know, I wish I could play slide well enough to give you guys a decent demo of this thing, but the heel access on this guitar is very nice to have. You know, I've got that Les Paul Special now, which is still being repaired. Hope to get it back soon. Just bear with me here, but going from something like that guitar, which has a really bulky heel and no access over the top of the frets, you know, beyond, I don't know, 15 fret and up, this is just a dream to play in the upper frets. And, you know, again, if I was a slide player, that, you know, it makes sense why guys like Derek Trucks pick an SG to play. It sounds great and it plays very well compared to some other alternatives. So I think that's all I've got for you guys today. I bought this guitar with the intention of probably, you know, fixing it and selling it to someone who's going to be able to play it and get some use out of it. It may be something that I put up for sale at some point in time. I'm still messing around with it, seeing if I have a use for it. But for those of you that don't know, I do come across a lot of old vintage Fender, Gibson parts and amps as well. And I have a Reverb store in the description below. You can click the link there, and you can follow my store if you have an account on Reverb, and it will notify you whenever I post something. So maybe someday you'll see this guitar, or who knows, something else. So that's all I've got for you today. I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.